Hey, I'm Bulldozer, and today I'll be sharing 10 beginner tips to improve your gameplay and chances of survival in Eclipsis Roblox. Let's begin. Once you find a good area to place enough well pumps to sustain a decent base, don't start filling every pipe with a well pump. Build one first and upgrade it to max by pressing B on the pump and filling the blueprint with iridium. A well pump at level 1 will produce 5 units of iridium per second. A well pump at level 2 will build blueprints for you with its incorporated fabricator. A well pump at level 3 will allow to transfer iridium wirelessly via the white sphere, and a well pump at level 4 will increase its storage capacity by 150% and increase its productivity to 15 units of iridium per second. This means that a max upgraded well pump produces as much iridium as 3 pumps at level 1. This goes without saying, but each time you intend to start a base, it is recommended that you find a vein of at least 3 or more pipes to place well pumps on. So, next time you plan on placing well pumps, upgrade one to max level first before building the others. Condensers are a type of extractor that obtain iridium from converting the vapor in the air into iridium. The higher the condensers are placed, the more iridium you will obtain. So, if you stack condensers, the higher ones will produce more than the lower ones. The maximum a condenser can produce at max altitude is 5.20 units of iridium per second. You can also obtain a Roblox badge by placing a condenser at max altitude. Although the achievement is currently broken, but I'm sure the development team will fix it soon. Fun fact, since the higher a condenser is, the more it produces, I tested how much a condenser would produce in the water, which is minimum altitude, and the answer is 1.16 units of iridium per second. So keep those condensers as high as you can. Remember the white sphere we talked about earlier? Yeah, the one that transmits iridium wirelessly? Well, there are some structures that don't require to be connected with pipes, but can function by placing a distributor cap that receives the iridium transmitted by the distributors, the white balls. It is a useful tool since it does not clutter your entire base with pipes and you can maneuver through your base more comfortably. Some examples of structures that can use distributor caps are spawns, fabricators, distributors, shield generators, turrets, arc turrets, point defenses, and more. Be mindful that the distributor caps, despite their name, can only receive iridium and not deliver, so only use them on the receiving ends, since they won't work as transmitters. Whenever I play games with players that have a low rating, I sometimes see them using crystal resonators to extract iridium from the crystals around the planet. It is tempting to think that as the cheapest extractor, it is the one to use during the beginning of a match, but you'd be wrong. Crystal resonators are the worst extractor of the 4, producing between 1 and 2 iridium per second, doing the exact same job you can do with your portafab, but in a much slower and inefficient way. So, whatever you do, never use crystal resonators. The key to winning matches in Eclipsis is speed and knowledge. The latter one will come with the time you spend playing the game, but speed can be greatly increased by learning where important and frequently used structures can be found in your portafab, by using the keys Z, X, C, and V to maneuver yourself around the portafab's inventory. Equally important are the keybinds R to rotate a blueprint 90 degrees, Shift and Scroll to rotate a blueprint with more precision, and T to change the snap of a print on an already existing structure. I truly recommend you spend some time in sandbox mode, which you can access by using a teleport in the lobby to try and build by only accessing the items you need using the keys Z, X, C, and V to place the blueprints. When you start using this method in game, you'll go much faster, giving you an advantage over someone who doesn't use any keybinds, and as a result, go slower, giving you much more time to expand your bases than the enemy can. The flashlight you spawn in with is very useful to be able to see in the dark or on the ground, but be wary, you're not the only one on this planet, and enemy players can track you down by the luminosity of your light. Turn off your light at crucial moments by pressing F to go incognito mode. If the enemy did not make a scanner, they will have a harder time tracking you down in the dark and seeing your every move. You can always turn your light back on by pressing F. One way to win the game is by placing enough priority beacons around the map to initiate an orbital bombardment. If you plan on winning the game using this method, you must always set up defenses before you place the priority beacon. I cannot express the amount of times I have destroyed priority beacons without any opposition, just because the enemy was too focused on placing it than actually protecting it. Priority beacons cost almost 10,000 units of iridium to build, and in contrast have low health and can be destroyed easily. Protection of your beacon should be your top priority, because if one of your beacons gets destroyed, Apart from wasting your time building a new one, it spends a lot of iridium as well. That's why you should secure the perimeter where you're going to place your beacon before placing it. I recommend using a combined protection of all 3 defensive military weapons: turrets, arc turrets, and point defenses, along with shields to strengthen the perimeter around your beacons. This is probably the most important tip for all the new players. When you begin, your main objective should be to get off your spawn island and find suitable areas around the map to begin building more bases to control sectors of the planet. The more territory you have under the control, the less chances you will have of letting your enemies have it, and as a result, giving less opportunities and resources to the enemy, putting you at an advantage. The spawn islands are placed on the edges of the map. If a team stays in their spawn island, they are vulnerable to encirclement. The enemy will know that the team is clumped up in a small portion of the map, and that they will only have 1 well pump worth of production at the bare minimum. The enemy will ensure that the team stuck on the spawn island does not escape, making it very hard for the defenders to run away, inevitably leading to their loss. When moving between islands, the most common method is to build bridges, although if you can use them, so can your enemies. They just have to follow the bridge path you created for them, leading to your location. Don't forget, you have a perfectly functional jetpack which you can use by double tapping spacebar. Most islands can be traversed without the need for bridges. With a little boost from your jetpack, you can make it across, and by leaving no structures behind, your enemies won't be able to see where you are so easily. Keep in mind that the jetpack duration is limited and needs to regain for a short time after every use. The jetpack uses iridium, so be sure to have some in your portafab before jetpacking away. Last but not least, we have auto mechanics, a practical but underrated item which repairs damaged structures using iridium. Place at least 1 auto mechanic per base, so if attacked, it can sustain your base just a little bit longer, and if combined properly, it can help you survive multiple attacks, giving the enemy a morale loss in the process. I hope this video helped you in some way and taught you some new methods to try out in your next Eclipsis matches. Thank you for watching and see you again soon. White balls.